Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you all. I hope everyone is doing well today. We are excited to welcome you to our webinar about the new brand hero, Digital Out of Home. I see that there is many people in the room. Perhaps we can wait 2 more minutes before starting this session. As you may know, we will be together for approximately 1 hour. If anyone has a question during the presentation, please don't hesitate to use the chat. We will address them during the Q&A session. If some of you need to leave during the webinar, no worries. We will send all participants a replay of this webinar, allowing you to catch up on what you have missed. Maybe I can do a sound check. Can everyone hear me well? If not, please don't hesitate to comment in the chat section. Right. The 2 minutes have passed. Maybe we can start it and let's kick off this webinar. But before displaying today's webinar agenda, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Sophie Sior, Head of Media at Programmatic. I have been working in the digital marketing for over 7 years, and together with my team, we strive to maximize the solution for our ad client. Today, I'm joined by our guest, Aurélien Ernest.
Yes, hi Sophie, hi everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys and to talk about programmatic digital out of home. So like Sophie said, my name is Aurélien. I'm a business partner in charge of the programmatic digital out of home within JCDecaux. I've been working for the company 3 years, but it's been 6-7 years also that I'm working in digital sales house, and I'm in charge of the Belgian and Luxembourgish market. So before starting and going really into what is digital out of home, what is programmatic out of home, I will do a very quick summary about JCDecaux. I think you all know the companies, but for the one that doesn't really know about it, JCDecaux is actually the world leader in terms of out of home, and we are located in more than 80 countries. So what do we do actually? We provide services to citizens. The most famous one, I guess, is the bus shelter, but we will also provide information panels. It can be public toilets as well. And all of that is financed by advertising. And regarding advertising, actually, our idea is to offer brands a podium, ensuring exposure and positive brand perception while building brand frame.
Thanks, Aurélien. And for those who don't know Programmatic, we are a company specialized in programmatic and data-driven marketing, often referred to as MadTech experts. Our mission is to amplify marketing through technology for brands and agencies across Europe by providing you with the best tools and services. We have a team of 26 people working across our headquarters based in Brussels and our other office in France, Spain, but also Poland. We offer our customers a comprehensive guidance around their data-driven marketing activities. Today, we are discussing the Google Marketing Platform, for which we are a sales partner. This means we hold the highest level of technical certification for this solution and receive also the most accurate and advanced information. And now, let's see the goal of today's webinars. First, Aurélien and I will provide an introduction to what programmatic digital out of home is and discuss the general perception of this new medium within the digital landscape. Second, we will offer a deep dive into the Belgian market inventory for digital out of home, highlighting specific data-driven features that can be activated for your digital out of home strategy. Third, we will present which DSP can be used to activate and launch digital out of home campaigns, along with benchmark for major European countries such as Italy, Spain, Germany, and the United Kingdom. Fourth, we will showcase 4 successful case studies related to programmatic digital out of home in Europe. And lastly, we will conclude this session with some key takeaways and a Q&A session. But first things first, before diving deeper into the session, we would like to ask you 2 questions. Please don't hesitate to answer via the poll section. And normally, this question should appear on the screen right now. Do you already launch programmatic digital out of home campaign? Yes or no? And let's see in a few seconds the first results of these questions.
Suspense is the highest.
Wow, the figures are quite, it's half and half. If 56% response yes and 44% response no. All right, and the second questions can be displayed now. For those who reply yes, so the 56% of the audiences who reply yes, which DSP you have been used for your first campaign of digital out of home? Is it DV360, the Trade Desk, Adform, Hawk, Hotmove, Sage and Archer, or now the new name Vistar Media or Displays? Let's wait a few seconds more before showing the results. All right. 40% who has already launched a digital out of home campaign was used Displays, afterwards DV360, and then Hawk, Hotmove, and Sage Archer with 10%. Perfect. Thanks a lot for playing the game. And now that we have a better idea of who has already activated this particular medium or not, let's start with an introduction to what digital out of home is and what it can do for media buyers and brands. Digital out of home refers to video content and or digital signs located in high traffic public locations such as airport, health club, restaurant, malls, streets, etc. By integrated digital out of home with online and mobile media plans, media buyers can create a comprehensive strategy that reach user whether they are at home or on the go. By reaching user both in and out of home, advertisers can solidify a more memorable brand experience and better influence buying behavior. On this slide, you can see that in Belgium, digital out of home offer more than 360 million digital out of home contacts every week. But why is digital out of home becoming more and more important? There are four main reasons. First, digital out of home addresses increasing online safety concern related to brand safety and the risk of fraud. Secondly, digital out of home is 100% visible compared to other digital formats, and there are no issues regarding the use of ad blockers. For instance, ad blocking is not a concern for digital out of home since the publisher controls the endpoint. This means that no ad blocking software can be installed, ensuring the ads play everywhere. A third advantage of digital out of home is the flexibility to buy advertising space in various environments based on the inventory. Later in the presentation, we will showcase the specific environment available through digital out of home format. The environment can significantly influence the success of the creative agency. Depending on the location, creativity can be maximized to capture the attention of the end consumer based on the screen's location and the displayed creative. Lastly, compared to traditional out of home, digital out of home offers the ability to target specific audiences based on particular points of interest and the online behavior of the audiences. But what about the end consumer? Here are some figures taken within Belgium for a specific study launched by Clear Channel in 2019. And that showed that 79% of the Belgian consumers state that screens are highly visible from far away. 76% of the consumers say that a digital out of home campaign catches their attention due to the use of animated and or video assets compared to out of home posters. 72% of the consumer enjoyed the innovation within digital out of home ads. Later in the case study, we will explore the type of innovation you can incorporate into your digital out of home strategy. And lastly, 78% of consumers have a very positive perception of the digital screens on the streets in Brussels. This digital digital out of home, should be considered as a complementary channel to both online and online channels. On this slide, you can see a comparison of digital out of home with offline media, such as offline TV or offline radio. Digital out of home has the highest reach among people younger than 55 years old, along with internet. TV and radio have a higher reach among elderly people. Depending on the target audiences and persona, digital out of home could be a valuable solution to access a broader reach for specific target groups. Also, digital out of home has one of the largest reach during peak hours, when many people are outdoors. In contrast, offline TV is more popular late at night, and radio is more popular early in the morning. And lastly, digital out of home can target people who are on the move outside of their home, which is not the case for offline TV. In conclusion, digital out of home is more than just a branding medium. It should be considered holistically within a digital marketing strategy. For awareness objective, for instance, digital out of home generates one of the highest level of brand recall compared to other media channels. For objective related to consideration, recent studies have shown that over 50% of the consumer trust digital out of home more than other advertising mediums. But what about the conversion and the acquisition for a digital out of home campaign? Here, you can see the impact of digital out of home campaign on online action purchases and mobile usage. Recent studies have shown that consumers exposed to a digital out of home campaign are more likely to make a mobile purchase for a product or services that they have seen in a digital out of home advertisement. Another important figure is 71%. After being exposed to a digital out of home ad, 71% of the consumers will visit the brand's website on their smartphone after seeing the brand on a digital out of home screens.
Yeah, thank you, Sophie. So there's something that actually Sophie talked a bit about is the brand recall. And we noticed that the brand recall for digital out of home can be much higher than classic out of home, which I mean paper out of home. So why is that? If we compare the paper to digital, there you will already gain in terms of brand recall because of the brightfulness of the digital screens. So actually, if you look the first Adidas visual on the left, it's paper. If you compare it to the one in the middle, you will already gain more than 2.26 in terms of brand recall because how bright it is. It's easy. If you walk in the street, you will have a paper on your left, a digital screen on the right. Normally, your eye will be more linked directly to the digital screens. And something that can also increase these figures, it's clearly the animations. Now we tried for decades at JCDecaux to add some animations within paper. Never worked. Clearly, digital out of home can allow you in your campaign, in your visuals, to add some animations. It doesn't mean neither that you have to create a full motion visual that will make the passers like epileptic. You don't need something really crazy, but sometimes just a slightly animation, maybe the logo of the advertiser appearing, something like that, will already clearly appeal more to people passing by and will increase once again the brand recall. So some other positive aspects about digital out of home is, I would say, the premium aspect. Clearly, it's one of the medium that is considered by many premium media that's often you can find in iconic places. If you look already on a Belgian level, the fact that you can have digital screens in Avenue Louise, Toison d'Or, near the European institutions, in some places that sometimes advertisers will be proud to be linked, And on top of this premium aspect, you also have this trust aspect, actually. There is Justin Gibbons, is a founder of a famous research called The Moment of Trust, that says you don't lie in public. And that's true. Actually, often when you have advertisers doing campaign in out of home, we are more eager to trust the advertiser and this message, and that's something that is often researched by the advertisers, and that's why a lot of advertisers are looking in out of home, is for this trust aspect regarding citizens. Another thing is the reach. Clearly, it's a mass media out of home. If we look only about the digital out-of-home inventory in Belgium, we can cover more than 90% of the Belgian population in 1 week. So clearly, the major population can be reached with digital screens. Clearly, there's the impact side. So I just showed you on the slide before about the brand recall. So in another term, let's say the impact of digital screens. Clearly, it's a bit more impactful, let's say, than paper. However, don't take me wrong, paper out-of-home advertising still have a lot of advantages. The fact, for example, that you still have 100% of share of time and some other factors. But yeah, clearly, digital out-of-home is an impactful media. Another aspect is the flexibility, and we will show you this just after. The buyer actually can choose when, how much, and what inventory to buy, enabling them to optimize on the fly, pace, or activate in response to conditional factors or even triggers. And it can be also an engaged media, since you can be much more contextual in your message. So maybe an aspect that is really proper to digital out-of-home and that is a bit different to online advertising. Some of you certainly are more aware of online advertising and a bit more less about digital out-of-home, is the difference between out-of-home plays and out-of-home impressions. So what is the difference? When you do an online campaign, let's say you have a pre-roll on YouTube, we will say that one play equals one impression, because we will say that there's only one person behind the cell phone or behind a computer. Clearly, digital out-of-home is a one-to-many media. So one play can generate many impressions. And that's what we can see on the slide, actually. So you have, for example, the sprite visual. The fact that it will appear on the screen will mean that this is one play. But as you can see, there's many people in front of these digital screens. And all of these people will be considered as an impression. So that's different with out-of-home and of online advertising, sorry. And of course, people that will be behind this screen will not be considered as impression. So maybe your question will be, okay, but how do you guys measure the number of impressions? Because every screens have its specificities, let's say. So to do so, we work with the CIM, le Centre des Informations des Médias Belges. I guess that most of you guys know about them. So the CIM will measure the audience, the number of traffic, let's say, in front of every screens and at specific moments of the day. If we take, for example, a screen in Avenue Louise, you can imagine, of course, that a Saturday afternoon, this screen will generate much more impressions than a Sunday night at 11 in the evening, for example. So that's how we measure clearly. And when we work in programmatic out-of-home, we buy impressions. You guys buy impressions, and depending on the moment of the day and the screen, the number of impressions will change. Another way that we will measure our audience, it will be more for screens located in closed area like shopping malls, metro stations, airports. We will work with Wi-Fi sensors. So what is the idea behind Wi-Fi sensors? Is that our digital screens have within the screen a little Wi-Fi sensor, and it will collect the data of people passing through a certain perimeter around the digital screen. It could be 10 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters, depending on the location of the screen. Obviously, it's totally GDPR compliant, and we will not get any information about the people, but only collect the number of people passing by. So these are the main ways how we measure the audience. And anyway, since a few months ago, even our Wi-Fi sensor system is also checked by the SIM. So even this way of calculating now is official by the same. Some other advantages linked to really programmatic out-of-home. I'm sure all of you guys heard before this this webinar about programmatic out-of-home. It's a bit a hot topic for a year or two. So why do we talk so much about programmatic? It's first of all, it is easy to use. What do I mean by easy to use is that an advertiser, an agency can easily access to digital out-of-home inventory via different sales house or via different countries. I imagine now you have an international campaign. You want to activate a campaign in France, Germany, Belgium, or even maybe Brazil, for instance. Well, it is easy to access to these digital inventories via the DSP, the demand side platform. Also, we say that it is versatile. What do we mean by versatile? Is that until now, out-of-home was always seen as a really awareness medium. Now on with programmatic, it can allow you to reach different aspects. Also, it could be more into consideration, sometimes even more into drive to store. And also, you don't have any more budget constraints. Maybe for a lot of advertisers, out-of-home has always been seen as a expensive media, and that was only for big advertisers, let's say. Well, it is clearly not the case anymore. There's no minimum budget in programmatic out-of-home. You could launch a campaign for 5,000–10,000 euros, for example. Of course, the idea with smaller budget is to have a very tailor-made campaign with specific targetings like time targeting and other aspects like that. There's the data-driven aspect that is also very important in programmatic out-of-home. We will use first-party data, third-party data, weather data, for example. We will show you a few case studies after that, but that's really the idea in programmatic out-of-home, is to become contextual and use data to optimize a maximum the efficiency of your campaign. With data, of course, with all these triggers, you can be more precise in targeting, and says more precise in targeting means better results normally. And what we also mean in becoming more precise is that, for example, you could buy one specific screen at a specific hour. At JCDecaux, for example, we have this screen located in front of our office. Sometimes when we have a new colleague, well, we will put his face the morning on this digital screen and say, yeah, welcome to the company, for example. You might find a bit of a stupid example, but I like it because really you can see how very precise you can go with programmatic out-of-home. You can buy literally one screen for 1 hour if needed. Another aspect with programmatic out-of-home is the measurement. Via the demand-side platform, you can have access in real time to different KPIs like impressions, maybe share of time. You can analyze in real time the drive to store when you link your out-of-home campaign to other mediums, such as mobile. So that's something that is becoming more and more interesting for advertisers, because it's true, for decades, out-of-home was kind of hard to measure. It tends to programmatic to other mediums. Now it is easier to do so. Also, with programmatic, like in online programmatic, you can start a campaign, pause it, and stop it at any moment. For example, now it is 10:25. Let's say you have a visual ready. The time that you set up your campaign and that you approve the creative, in less than 5–10 minutes, your creative can be broadcasted all over Belgium and even on an international level. So that can be very interesting when you have to be very, let's say, proactive. There's a specific news linked to the company or the news in general. You want to be very, efficient. Let's say you can really activate a campaign in few minutes. Also, of course, I don't wish it to the advertisers, but maybe there will be a bad buzz linked to a campaign, to an advertiser. Maybe there's a new COVID that will pop up in a few days, which also we clearly don't wish. But maybe you would have to pause your campaign. You can imagine that with a classical out-of-home campaign, with a paper campaign, it is much more complicated from one moment to another to stop the campaign. Clearly, with programmatic digital out-of-home, you are able to pause a campaign and to relaunch it whenever you want. Another aspect will be the unlimited use of creatives. I don't know if most of you guys are aware of DCO, which is dynamic creative optimizations. It's the fact to use HTML content. Well, nowadays it is also possible to use this type of creatives in digital out-of-home, which means once again that you can be even more creative, even more contextual, because you can put, for example, some countdowns, show the temperature in real time, show the stock of your products in real time on the digital screens. So that is something, I don't want to say that it's a bit the trend for the moment in digital out-of-home, but it is. There's more and more advertisers using this type of creatives to be even more contextual. And yeah, I think I gave a lot of different advantages of programmatic out-of-home. As you can see, you can be much more creative, and who says more creative? Well, says better performance in your campaign.
Let's now make a little deep dive on the inventory in Belgium and also the data-driven strategy that we can put in place for the digital out-of-home campaigns.
Yeah, something that I would want to say that is just for me very important is to take the consumer journey for your campaigns. It might sound obvious for you guys, but for decades, once again, out-of-home were bought for like a specific week, a specific network, often from a Tuesday to the other Tuesday. Now in programmatic out-of-home, the idea is totally different. The idea is not that you buy one specific network, but maybe that you mix different digital networks depending on your targets and on this consumer journey. I will go just after this slide more into detail about the different modes, different networks. But the idea really is, okay, maybe your target is working active people that will go to work every morning. Why not activate the campaign in the street network when people are stuck in the traffic or in the metro stations of Brussels, for example? Then maybe you could activate the campaign during the lunchtime with adapted visual, for example, in shopping malls when people go and take their lunch, or on the billboards when they are also commuting during the lunch break. And maybe activate the campaign once again the evening from 5 to 8 on the retail network in Carrefour and the Les shops, for example, and once again with another visual that is adapted to this specific moment. So really take advantage of that. There's different digital universe, different touch points. So really take into account to be the more contextual with your campaigns. So regarding these digital networks, what is available in Belgium? I think the most common one, and I think most of you guys certainly saw these digital screens, is the one located in the streets. They are the most demanded by the advertisers. And why so? Well, because you will touch really an active audience, and clearly all type of people, because clearly all type of people also are walking in the streets of Belgium. Like for the street network and like for most of the other digital networks, the screens are in a vertical format with a length of 6 seconds. It's a bit the average in Belgium. Sometimes it can go up to 10 seconds, but in JCDecaux and programmatic, most of the visuals will be in 6 seconds. So another network that is located in the streets, and this time in the streets of Brussels, is the billboard network. So it is 14 screens of 8 meters squared, 8 meters squared screens. Sorry. So clearly it's very brightful. It is perfect to get the attention of people. And they are always located next to heavy traffic roads. So it's true that we have a lot of car advertisers that will use this network, for example, but also other types of advertisers will use it for really big awareness campaigns. Another one is the metro. So still in Brussels, it's we have digital screens located in 16 or 17 metro stations of Brussels. I particularly like this digital network. I will tell you why. Is the matter of dwelling time. So for the one that already took the metro, normally you will wait the metro between 1 minute to 10 minutes, let's say. What are you going to do between 1 to 10 minutes? Or you check your cell phone, or you're going to check in front of you. And what you have in front of you, you often have digital out-of-home screens. So you have clearly more time to reach your targets. You can maybe put a bit more storytelling in your visual, a bit more content, let's say, because if we compare this to the street network, for example, to the billboard network that I was just showing before, you have to be straight to the point. People are passing by car. You have an attention time of 2 seconds, 3 seconds maximum. So you have to put a pack shot of your product, the name of your company, and really the call to action, and that's it. You don't have time really to put long sentences, stuff like that, because people will clearly not have time to read it. While in the metro network, for example, this dwelling time is a bit longer. There is the retail network. So we have screens in front of the Carrefour and the Les shops. So outside, just at the entrance, and also inside. So often there's this double contact before the purchasing. And that's clearly a network that is well demanded by FMCG brands, but not only. Because at the end, when you think about it, you might be in a retail environment, but you will reach everyone. Everyone at the end of the day or in the beginning of the day will go and do groceries. We all have to eat. So at the end, depending on your strategy, can be also very interesting. Of course, we can focus the advertising at specific hours of the day. Imagine you are selling, I don't know, frozen products. We could see which are the moments in the week that frozen products are the most sold. Maybe you could focus the campaign at the specific moments, for example. We will show you also some case studies, but the idea is also to activate the campaign depending on the weather. Every year we have a lot of drinks, alcohol drinks that want to activate only when the weather is, when the temperature is above 20 degrees, for example. The airport network, very premium network as well, that I particularly like also for the dwelling time. What is cool with the airport is that you can also target specific areas of the airport. Maybe you want to reach only people departing from Brussels. Maybe you want to reach people that are arriving. You want to reach people traveling in a non-Schengen area, stuff like that. So you can be very specific in your targeting. And something that goes a bit further is that you can activate a campaign depending on the flights. Imagine you are a travel company promoting, I don't know, trips to Spain. Maybe you could activate the campaign only when there are departures of flights towards Spain. You can be super contextual with that. We have more and more campaigns of advertisers, not only linked to tourism actually, but that are really taking into advantage these flight data and that they integrated in their programmatic campaign. Last but not least is the shopping malls. So JCDecaux have digital screens in more than 32 shopping malls all over Belgium. It is also a very well-demanded shopping network. Why? Once again, the dwelling time that is high. Normally, you go in a shopping mall for 1 hour to 1 hour 30. We have many screens in one shopping mall, which allows you to have more than one contact, a bit of repetition, which is always good for brand recall. And on top of that, studies shows that people are more positive towards advertising in shopping malls because they are already in a mood of buying, of shopping. So that's also something interesting to know regarding this network.
Thank you, Aurélien. I hope that the Belgium network won't be a secret anymore for you guys. Now let's explore the data-driven strategy that we can implement with digital out of home using a specific features called triggers. We will deep dive into this later in the presentation for the case studies as well. But depending on the technology you will use to activate and launch a digital out of home campaign, certain DSPs offer what we call triggers. This means you can activate your digital out of home campaign based on specific events or data, just as Aurélien has also told you. This slide showcases all the possibilities available through trigger activation. For instance, you can activate your digital out of home campaigns only when the weather is sunny, or you can display a specific message based on the location of your digital out of home screens. About 2 years ago, David Lloyd, which operates healthy gyms in Belgium, launched a digital out of home campaign by incorporating a countdown in their creative, indicating the day left until the grand opening of their new gyms in Brussels. The countdown triggers can be particularly useful for retailers opening new stores near cities, as the countdown instills a sense of urgency in the consumer who see the ad. Lastly, advertisers can modify their content based on various factors, such as also weather condition, but also traffic information or upcoming events, such as football, for instance. Another features of what I call data-driven strategy for a digital out of home campaign is the possibility to use third-party data to target digital out of home screens where your target audiences is most likely to be available. On this specific slide, you will see several audiences strategy that can be implemented for a digital out of home campaign. For instance, you can target people who have visited specific locations such as retailers, automotive dealers, etc. You can also target people who have shown a specific interest in a certain products or even brands. Lastly, you can retarget people who have been exposed to a digital out of home campaign on mobile displays with a different message, for instance. These specific audience strategy and segments are available through a technology provider called AdSquare. AdSquare's technology collects mobile location data from a wide variety of location-enabled apps, offering a representative cross-section of the society in terms of geographic distribution, behavioral, or also app usage connected to the mobile advertising IDs. And also this approach is 100% GDPR compliant and transparent. Now that we have explored why digital out of home is important and the types of data-driven strategy you can implement, let's discuss where you can buy digital out of home in the programmatic landscape. Now that we have explored, as you can see here on this slide, there are two types of technology you can use to activate and launch digital out of home campaigns. On one hand, you can buy digital out of home inventory through what we call specific digital out of home DSPs, meaning those DSP can only purchase the digital out of home format, nothing else. We have listed some examples of digital out of home DSPs such as Outmove, Displays, Broadsign, which are specifically oriented towards digital out of home formats. And on the other hand, you can buy digital out of home inventory through what we call omni-channels DSPs, like DV360, Oak, The Trade Desk, or even Adforms. The main differences between those two technologies are as follows. The targeting options are more granular with digital out of home specific DSPs compared to omnichannels DSPs. The level of control and optimization varies between the two. Several omnichannels DSP primarily operate with deals, private, preferred, or guaranteed, which is also the case for digital out of home specific DSPs. However, with digital out of home specific DSPs, you can also buy in the open market and optimize toward the best performing inventory and publisher. This can be more challenging, but not impossible when using more private buying methods, such as guaranteed deals. On the measurement side, digital out of home specific DSPs offer more granular metrics compared to certain omnichannels DSP. Depending on the brand you want to activate digital out-of-home for and the data-driven strategy you wish to implement, the best option for having the highest control over your digital out-of-home is to choose a digital out-of-home specific DSPs. If you want to launch a digital out-of-home national campaign for a major announcement with specific data-driven strategy and also want to activate other digital channels, then choosing omnichannels DSP will be the best option. Aurélien showed us earlier the various network options available in Belgium, but what about the other country in Europe? On this slide, we have provided a global overview of all the digital out-of-home screens inventory available per countries. As depicted on this slide, screens in street, airport, health club are available across all countries. However, there are specificities for several countries as provider can differ based on the region. It is also important to note that the average CPM depends on the inventory and the network itself. The most cost-effective CPM schemes come from health club and street screens. The cost of a digital out-of-home campaign is also influenced by the size of the screens. As we discussed earlier, 75% of the screens are vertical portrait-oriented. However, some digital out-of-home screens, such as billboard that Aurélien showed you earlier, can be more expensive due to the larger size. If you need more information about other European countries or a specific overview for a particular country, please don't hesitate to reach out. We will be more than happy to assist you on this matter. Now that we have learned all about the digital out-of-home inventory, data-driven strategy with audience targeting, dynamic creative, and triggers, let's see some inspirational business case that have been done using data-driven strategy in digital out-of-home screens. Our first case study comes from Amsterdam, featuring the Museum of Moko. One of the main challenges of the museum faced during the pandemic was the significantly reduced foot traffic in their museums. In order to boost museums' visits, Moko partnered with JCDecaux to activate digital out-of-home screens in specific locations and employ a unique trigger, a feed updated in real time based on the number of ticket sales happens in the museums. The digital out-of-home ads were only displayed when ticket sales fell below a predetermined level, activating the digital out-of-home campaign. And additionally, the creative highlighted a discount for visitors who decided to visit the museums the same day.
Yep, another case that is this time Belgium is for the Brussels airport that every year organize the Brussels Marathon that you might be aware of. So what did we do for this campaign? We did a lot of stuff actually. We did audience targeting, geo-targeting, and time targeting. So the objective of Brussels airport was actually to increase the number of subscribers to the marathon. So to do so, what we decided was to first do a geo-targeting, which means that we used the digital screens that were next to the parks. Why? Because we assume that a lot of people at this in Brussels, when they go running, they go in parks of Brussels. On top of that, we also used mobile data that we collected from different data providers. And the idea was to select digital screens that had a high affinity score on people that use applications such as Adidas Runtastic, Running Walking, and the Nike Run Club. On top of that, we also applied a time targeting. If I remember well, the time targeting was from 6 in the morning to 10 and also in the evening. Why? Because it's normally the hours where people are more keen to go doing jogging before or after working. So that's something that I really, for me, it's also a perfect type of programmatic example because you really use the different aspects that is possible in order to make it the most contextual possible. On top of that, Brussels Airport also decided to activate the campaign the day of the marathon. This time the strategy was slightly different. We decided to use only the digital screens that were exactly on the path of the marathon. The idea was really to reach the people running. I don't know if if you see the ads running. So actually, Brussels Airport did a visual where they say go, 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 a bit to motivate the people running. At the end of this marathon, they were slightly adapting the creative. And you can see this time that they are congratulations, and thank you. We run together to all the people that did this marathon. You see, sometimes you just need a little adaptation of your visual, also adapt a little bit the time targeting to make something super relevant. So actually, yeah, time targeting, audience targeting by using mobile data, adapting the visuals, all the specificities of programmatic out of home in a way have been used for this campaign to make it more relevant. And actually, you can see it in the numbers. During the campaign, before the marathon started, there were an increase of 55% in the number of registrations. Yeah, another case that is this time comes from London. I don't know if you know, guys, about Virgin Active. It's a chain of gyms that is all over London. We could compare it in Belgium to Basic Fit, for example. So their idea was to do a mobile retargeting on top of the digital out-of-home campaign. So Virgin Active had 30 clubs in the Greater London, and the idea was to target people that are regularly seen in close proximity of the gyms in order to maximize the relevance of their messages and realize that demonstrable performance uplifts from their brand activity. So how did they do that? Well, once again, they took into account the consumer journey of their targets. That's what I talked earlier in the presentation. So they actually activate the campaign on digital screen the morning in train station when people are commuting to work. Then they activate it at lunchtime in the streets, and again in the end of the day in train stations when people are commuting back home. The idea was to retarget people that passed in front of these digital screens on their mobile. So as you can see also on the visual, on the slide, is that they used similar creatives across the different channels in order to have really a unified message and to have a better brand experience for the audience. That's also very important. So people that passed in the train station, in the streets, once they go back on their mobile, they directly catch that it is the same advertiser communicating to them. So during and after the campaign, Amnet, the agency that was behind this campaign, did a footfall uplift measurements that would allow them really to quantify the impact of the campaign. And as you can see, well, on the slide, there's 2.3 people were 2.3 times more eager to go in a Virgin Active gym after the campaign compared to the people that were not seeing the campaign. So the numbers are really high, and that's what I want to highlight with this case study is digital out-of-home, obviously for me is an amazing media, but can be even more amazing if you link it to a different medium such as mobile, audio, social media also. And actually, last thing on this slide is that the agency went a bit further because they analyzed this uplift, but also per hours of the day, per area in London, and per days as well. So actually, this campaign was in two waves, one in September and one in January. And in January, they really took into account the performance of the first wave, and they focused more the campaign in the areas of the hours that were the more relevant.
And the final case study that we would like to present to you involves the use of AdSquare the footfall in the physical stores and the implementation of a countdown features as well. Here it's for the store of Decathlon in France, and Decathlon faced the challenge of assessing the effectiveness of their digital out-of-home campaign. And by leveraging AdSquare online and offline datasets, Decathlon analyzed the movement data of users exposed to the campaign within a 50-meter radius around relevant poster location during the ads runtime. They examine whether the same users visited Decathlon store after seeing the campaign. And I show on the slide, thanks to the integration of AdSquare technology and a countdown creative as well, there was a 38% uplift of visitation. This means that 38% of the individuals exposed to the digital out-of-home campaign visited Decathlon compared to those who were not exposed. And now, as we have 9 minutes left together, let's wrap up this session with some key takeaways regarding the use of digital out-of-home with your overall digital strategy. First thing first, targeting possibilities and measurement. By leveraging data-driven strategy, advertiser can precisely target specific demographics, location, and even times of day to deliver highlight, relevant, and personalized message. Additionally, leveraging mobile retargeting allows for a re-engaging with consumers who have seen your digital out-of-home ads. On the side of the measurements, programmatic technology provides accurate and transparent data analytics, offering valuable insight into the campaign performances. You can measure impression, brand lift, but also foot traffic, as we've seen earlier. Also, another advantages of digital out-of-home is the flexibility and the adaptability. Programmatic digital out-of-home offers dynamic content capabilities that can be updated and changed in real time. Advertisers can modify their content based on various factors such as we have seen earlier, weather condition, traffic information, or upcoming events. Also, programmatic digital out-of-home offers the advantage of a fast activation in real time. With access to a digital out-of-home DSP, you can upload, schedule, and launch campaign in minutes. Programmatic digital out-of-home enables advertisers to optimize their campaign in real time, maximizing impact and efficiency. By continually monitoring campaign performances and data analytics, advertisers can tweak their messaging, creative elements, but also targeting parameters on the go. This real-time approach helps you make data-driven decisions, leading to improved campaign results. And last but not least, as Aurélien said earlier as well, you need to capitalizing on context. Much of digital advertising is returning on an emphasis on context, recognizing the impact of reaching customers at the right place and time, as well as questioning the sometimes privacy unsafe behavioral targeting on which much of the past decades digital advertising relied. Consider a beverage brand advertising grocery store or an ad for food delivery running on a bus as commuters head home from work. Digital screens are found in numerous places and spaces today. Think gyms, malls, liquor stores, doctors' offices, taxi stops, and more, allowing brands to strategically craft their digital out-of-home creative messaging to extract the most value for this unique real-world context. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us until the end. And now we have 6 minutes left. If you have some questions during the presentation, we will check the chat box here.
So the first question I see is from Daria. How does programmatic out-of-home advertising address ecological concerns, particularly in terms of energy consumption and environmental impact? Thank you very much, Daria, for this question. I'm kind of happy you ask it, actually, because it is true that it's a concern that a lot of people would have or you have these big screens in the streets, it might be very energy consumptive. Actually, it is not compared to other media. There's something that we maybe don't realize is that online advertising can be very energivore, like we say in French, like consume a lot of energy. There is a study made by KBC that I could actually I could check with Sophie how we could send it to you after that. But compare the different medias and their consumptions in terms of energy, and you will notice that digital out-of-home clearly consume, I think it is 2 times less. I don't want to say anything that will be wrong, but I think it's around 2 times less than other media. That's mostly online media, sorry. And on top of that, JCDecaux, of course, is having a strong strategy in terms of CSR, and we only use 100% renewable energy. 100% of the energy we use for our digital screen is produced in Belgium by Mindwheel, located at the North Sea. So this is also extra thing we want to do in order to be the less bad, let's say, for the environment. I hope it answers your question. Other questions?
I see one question coming from Christophe. Since the targeting possibilities seem to be so advanced in the DSP, what is the added value of working with publisher deals ID instead of what we could do with the open exchange? It will depend, Christophe, on the strategy that you want to put in place. Because if you want to do open market for me is a very good strategy if you want to test very specific networks, such as the GIM, such as the JCDecaux network, alongside with the clear channels. This is something that you can do with all the DSPs. For the private, more buying strategy in terms of preferred private deals and guaranteed deals, for me, it's more when you have a high seasonality period. For instance, in the end of year agenda, you know that very high brands will be buying some digital out-of-home screen alongside with out-of-home and all other programmatic inventory. For that particular seasonality, I will prefer to go, in order to be sure that I have the screen that I want for my brands, to go to specific deals with JCDecaux and Clear Channel instead of the open market. Why? Because it's due to the cannibalism of the inventory itself. We will be a lot of buyer on this kind of high seasonality period. And so in order to guarantee the screens and the impression I will buy for this specific period, I will go to the guaranteed or private deal instead of the open market. I hope that I answer your question, Christophe.
Yeah, I see another question from Daria as well. What are the initial cost comparisons between programmatic and traditional out-of-home? So it is true that it seems hard to compare these two media, and actually it is, because the idea is not that you will use programmatic out-of-home and out-of-home for the same reason. Traditional out-of-home, let's say, it's more for mass media campaigns. Programmatic, like we said, is more contextual, more into consideration phase. So people are more tending to say that traditional out-of-home is is cheaper than programmatic. But to be honest, I don't really like this concept, because it's like comparing apples and pears at the end. You know, it's not at all the same type of budget as well. And what you buy in programmatic is exactly what you want in a way. You will buy specific hours, specific places in order to reach a specific target. So the CPM you will put is to get, let's say, 100% of your target. Well, traditional out-of-home, you have less these targeting capabilities, and will be clearly to reach a bit more the broader audience.
Thanks, Aurélien.
Welcome.
Since we have less than 1 minute, I think we can end this webinar. And don't hesitate, guys. If we didn't reply to your question, I think Daria has 2 more questions left. However, Daria, I'm sorry, we don't have time anymore, but we can do a follow-up by emails in order to reply to all the questions that you had on the chat. Again, guys, thank you for your time. I hope digital out-of-home won't be a secret anymore for you. And don't hesitate to reach out if you have a question or asking around very specific inventory for a specific country. Thank you, guys, and bye.
Bye.